think, Billy's a young man who's very cerebral, knows exactly what to do, knows how to get into the right plays, and knows how to use his legs to his advantage. I think Cam's a guy that you see came in. He's an excellent passer. He's probably one of our most natural passers of the football, and so he's a guy with a little bit less athleticism that's got to play on time, and he kind of understands that. But his strength is his ability to pass the football. I think Champ probably has a great combination of all things: his ability as a runner, his ability as a passer. But he's a young guy that's got to continue to develop in our system and continue to learn how to play the quarterback position above their shoulders and what that means to be a quarterback. Jaden's been in our program as well. He's another guy that's an athletic, dual-threat quarterback that can use his athleticism to escape problems. But we've got to continue to bring him reps in our system to develop him. And then added M.J. Morris, who's a young man that obviously played early on at NC State. He's got real game experience. But M.J. is another guy that, he wasn't as natural as a quarterback coming in from high school. He was more of a baseball player. And so, he still continued to grow to his strengths and understanding how to be a quarterback at the collegiate level, even though he's had significant game experience. And so I'm just really excited about all five of these guys. I mean, I think it's a very raw slate that they have. Obviously they got to do a great job this spring, displaying themselves not only to our staff but to the teammates and how they want to lead this team as a quarterback. But we got to do a great job devising a plan that's going to allow those guys to be able to learn and compete at a high level.
Thanks so much for that. And that leads me to the next question: is how different is the offense going to look now with the new leader out there? I mean, are you already considering a lot of changes, or is it going to be kind of like what we've seen?
It's going to be completely different. I think every year the challenge is to develop your identity and who you are and what your players can do best. I wish I knew what that was right now, and I think this spring is going to be critical to the development of all of our players individually and collectively, that we figure out what they can do, figure out who the starting five is going to be up front, continue our quarterback competition, but figure out what those guys can do best. And then typically probably in the fall is where we'll get around to develop an identity of who we want to establish ourselves to be this upcoming season. But will we look completely different? In some ways, probably. I think that's always a challenge every year. You never want to remain the same. If you've got the same returning players, you can, but when things change, you got to kind of build the system around them. And so I anticipate us looking different this fall.
And apologies if it's already been asked, but just kind of making the transition over to the wide receiver room. Obviously, I know that you have that experience from your time over at Penn State, but what is it to kind of take over the room now and obviously Ty Felton and Caden Prather, but anyone else kind of behind them that you're kind of keeping an eye on or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm excited about that room, and obviously, still being involved with the quarterbacks. I just think what's different now is last year I kind of stayed away from the wide receiver room and just coached the quarterbacks. But we've got some great young graduate assistants that's going to help along the way, and Eric Nigerian with our quarterbacks, and Tim Morris also with our skill guys. But also having the voice of collectively meeting with those guys all together to help align the quarterbacks and wide receivers. So we'll do a lot more things together this spring, but then obviously from an individual standpoint of getting more time with those guys. And so I'm excited about the talent that we've got in that room. Especially when you talk about Ty Felton and Caden Prather. I think those two guys have the ability to be two of the top wide receivers in the country. Now, we've got to continue to turn that potential into production. And I think they showed it in flashes last year, but now it's going to be about the consistency of putting together high-level play week in and week out for those two young men, and I think they're eager. Octavian Smith is another guy that, has played in significant time and had, big plays for our team. And so, the thing that I'm excited about the wide receiver, I really think it's probably our deepest and most talented position on the team. But we've got to continue to remain high-level production in that room, and it's going to be critical to help, the comfort level of a quarterback competition. Yeah. Especially when you're talking about bringing along some young quarterbacks and young offensive linemen. We're going to need that room to step up in the biggest way.
Hey, Coach, sorry if you've already been asked this, but with the quarterback room, what specifically are you looking for during the spring?
First and foremost, we want to see a great understanding of our offense and an expertise of playing quarterback. And I think that goes into play in being a quarterback. It's one thing to be able to pick the football up and throw the ball as a quarterback, but being a quarterback at the collegiate level, especially at a high level like this, takes a lot. 95% of it is above the shoulders, let alone situational football, situational understanding, whether that's third down, red zone, how to read, how to prevent negative plays, how to gain the confidence of your teammates in your locker room and your peers. And so we're looking to see those guys grow in all different aspects, not just as a passer, but as being a complete quarterback, understanding, who we want to be as an offense, how to help our offense, and how to lead our offense. And so it's going to take time to continue to push these guys, and I don't expect a decision to be made by the end of the spring. I expect us to continue to develop that room to the highest level that we can, and so we're excited about the young men we've got in it, and just look forward to seeing those guys go through a friendly competition. They support each other in that room, and that's the main thing that we want to keep. We want to keep the support very high in that room, supporting each other and helping each and every one of those guys develop their absolute best they can.
Thank you.